Dun, dun. Yes. Hello. So are we live? I think so. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Awesome. I think we're live. Cool. If we are live, just let me know in the chat box or say hello, say hi. Just let me know you can hear me okay. I've got literally loads of screens going on here. So I've got one over here, one in front of me, and one over here with all the chat on. So make sure you can just, just say hello. Ray. Hi, Ray. Yep, awesome. I love it when people can actually hear me. I'm a couple of minutes early, so I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to turn up. There's supposed to be quite a few people coming today. Mike, how you doing? Nice to see you, Mike. Just give us a heads up, a little hello inside the comments. Just let me know you can hear me okay. And then we'll kick things off in just a couple of minutes' time. Sarah's here. Sure she's got something better to do today, but she's here anyway. Cool, awesome, happy days. And for those of you all just joining us, Jim, hi Jim, how you doing? Awesome. I'll say we'll kick things off in a couple of minutes' time. Just keep looking over here to see who's in the comments and see who's saying hi. Nice. Just bear with me as well. If you are asking questions or saying hello and stuff in the comments, there is literally a 12-second delay. I counted it a minute ago between what I'm saying and what's actually coming out on Facebook. So I'm not ignoring it if you say stuff to me. It is taking me about 12 seconds for it to come through, which is really weird because I've got myself open on this other screen over here, which is very, very strange. But never mind, never mind. Cool. Well, today, again, while I was waiting for people to turn up, we're going to be talking about what actually goes into a online program or a great online program. And over the past, excuse me, a few months actually, we spoke with a lot of different mentors, business coaches, other coaches inside the group. And we've talked a lot about kind of the sales side, the marketing side, how to build funnels. We've also spoke a lot about high ticket coaching as well with Tim. And if you didn't check that out, by the way, you should check out that from last week where we did a kind of big, nearly 2 hours long it was, all about high ticket coaching. But what we don't really cover a lot inside here is the more kind of semi-automated to fully automated stuff, the kind of mid-range things, which kind of PTD is actually absolutely awesome for. And the software can allow you to set up a program that can be used for a fully automated sort of maybe not even necessarily low ticket, but like a medium ticket program that can then be adapted very quickly to be sold as a high ticket program as well. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about that structure, what will go into that kind of program, and how you kind of set up inside PTD. And I also want to talk a little bit about how we can develop that out so that it can be utilized across the board. So awesome, we've got more people coming up now. So Joseph, hello. Jonathan, hey man, what's up? How's it going? I knew you said you was coming along to this. Oh, by the way, Jonathan, if anyone hasn't seen it, Jonathan's been putting loads and loads of cool posts inside the Facebook group recently from his new blog. Definitely worth checking those out as well. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Some awesome stuff in there. Cool. All right. So Sarah's saying my hair looks a bit dodgy. It's always looking dodgy. I apologize. I literally have no like camera skills or terms of looking good on camera. But there you go. You have to put it with the dodgy hair. And don't worry, you won't be looking at me this whole time anyway. Nikos, hello. Joseph, hello. Happy days. Cool. Let's kick things off properly. So I'm going to have a go. I've got loads of screens on here, so hopefully from a technical point of view, it should work okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and share my screen with you. And let's see what happens if I do that. So we're going to go share, share desktop, desktop 2. And let's hopefully it will come through. And this should work, hopefully. Haha, I wouldn't miss it, awesome. And hopefully you should see a big screen. Like I said, I've got a 12-second delay, so I have no idea if this is actually working or not. So if you now can actually see a screen that says the blueprint on it, or what goes into Great Online Coaching, the blueprint, you'll probably see my website first and it should pop up. And then we'll kick things off once I know it's actually working okay. A second, and yes, we seem to be working okay. Awesome. So Like I've mentioned already, we're going to be talking about what goes into a great online coaching program, and also the kind of blueprint to build that out. Now, if you do have any questions whatsoever, please do let me know in the comments. I will keep looking over to the side of me. If you keep seeing my head turn that way, it's because I'm looking into the comments. Please stop me. Please ask me any questions you want through this. This is about trying to give you guys as much value as possible about what actually can go into a program and how you can utilize this stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to look at. Before I do that, though, I would like to talk a little bit about kind of, well, why you should really listen to what I'm saying. And also because over the past few months, we've actually had a lot of people join this group, like literally hundreds of people join this group. This week alone, we've had another about 150 people join the group. So it must have a quick introduction about who we actually are. So most people will know me as kind of people call me the PTD Ninja. I just want to basically explain what kind of PTD Ninja is. So yes, it is this cool little cartoon character that you can see around sometimes hovering around everywhere, but it's not just that. We are actually an independent business that supports PT Distinction. A lot of people don't actually know this. So my background is actually as a trainer. And I was just like you guys, I was using PTD to deliver my online coaching programs. And they set up this Facebook group. And then when they set up this Facebook group, I started helping out, getting involved, as you do when you get involved with groups. And from that, people started seeing some of the posts and stuff I was putting up and the comments I was making. And then eventually Tim actually put inside the group saying, I didn't even realize our software could do that. And that's when we started these conversations, and a few people inside the group at the time decided they wanted to, ask me if I could help them. And that's kind of how the whole thing grew from there. And since then, we're now doing like literally me and my wife working full time running PTD Ninja, and we do a lot of support work with PT Distinction. So we do things such as running the masterclasses. So PT Distinction actually bring us in to run the masterclasses. So everyone listening here, everyone using PTD can actually get the best of the software. We also do a lot of work looking after the Facebook group. So you'll always see me all the time inside the Facebook group. Hi, Rob. Thanks for joining us. Anikos as well. Cool. You'll see us inside the Facebook group all the time, getting involved, trying to answer questions, trying to help you out as much as possible. And also we help set up and run the PT University. So if you haven't checked out the university, definitely go and check that out. It's a huge resource with lots and lots of cool stuff inside there. And it's myself, my wife, and Tim who put a lot of that university together with a bunch of other experts inside the industry. We also offer, outside of the stuff we do for PTD, a done-for-you service, the PT Ninja 101 course, and basically a cool blog full of tips and tricks for online coaching and PT Distinction. So if you do want to check any of that stuff out, definitely go and take a look. A lot of stuff we're going to talk about today is actually pulled out of the PT Ninja 101 course. So I can try and share some of that with you. And that's kind of where the idea of doing this came from. We have a lot of people who we work with on the done-for-you stuff and on the 101 course who said there's a lot of cool content in here. And we spend a lot of time inside the group bringing experts from all over the place and sharing their thoughts and their ideas and their systems. So I said, well, why don't you go and share yours as well? So it's not something we've done before. We haven't done it in the years we're in the group, but now we're going to give it a go. So I want to share some of the stuff that, my clients, people I work with, have actually found really, really useful. And hopefully everyone here will find it useful too. So just to give you a bit of a background again about who we actually are as individuals, excuse me. It is me and my wife, as I mentioned already. We all love family, traveling, and adventure. I've personally been a coach for around 15 years, and a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today is from not just my experiences of actually being a coach, but also from owning successful online business and also multiple studios as well. And I've also helped and developed a number of other businesses and other industries, ranging from literary adventure through to engineering. And I took a lot of those experiences from that to put into kind of these blueprints, these programs, and the stuff that we actually deliver. And I've also utilized all the stuff that we've learned over the years in the done-for-you packages to help tweak and adapt this blueprint. And it's something that we've seen work time and time again. So I'm hoping you'll get a lot out of this. Awesome, cool. So first of all, before we actually get into it in a lot of detail, let's look at what actually, well, I think anyway, makes a good online business. And this stuff is actually really, really important before we start looking at actually what goes into a flagship program. Because unless we actually really understand what our business is about, then it's going to be hard to build a flagship program around that, because whatever program you build, it has to be not only supporting your clients, but whatever you do has to support your business and the life goals that you want. So it's important we actually understand this. So the first thing that makes a good online business is understanding your mindset. So what is basic mindset? You hear people talking about it all the time. But for me, it's you understanding that your business needs to achieve a certain thing. So before you do anything, you need to know exactly what you are doing this for. I mean, at times it's going to take a lot of effort. It is going to get tough. And unless you're passionate about where your business is taking you to and why that's important to you, it's going to be hard to dig deep and push through when you actually need to. So it's important that you actually get yourself in the right mindset for this. And a lot of this is going to dictate how you deliver content to your clients. Because let's give you an example. If you want to go and do, a kind of program where you're writing out customized workouts for them all the time, you're changing the workouts all the time, you're doing detailed nutrition plans for them all the time, that's a lot of hours. And if you've got maybe 10, 20 clients, you might be charging good money for that, but you'll be sat in front of a computer all the time. But if your goals are to spend time with your family and maybe go traveling, a bit like my goals are, that's just not conducive. And you're going to find very quickly you're going to lose that passion to actually go and help people and, God forbid, give up. But we don't want that to happen. So it's really important that you actually understand what it is you truly actually want from your business and get yourself in the right mindset for that. The next thing is taking action. We're going to do a lot of that today. So now that you know what it is you want and why you want it, it's time to take action. And a lot of people actually all the time tend to procrastinate. They tend to hold back and think, I've got to get something perfect. I'm not sure what to do here. I'm not sure what to put in my program. I've got to make the perfect brand, the perfect PDFs, the perfect programs, or whatever it is. Don't wait around for that. Literally just go and do it. Do something today that's going to take you closer to your goal. I mean, if you can literally just spend 5 minutes a day doing something that's going to take you closer to your goal, it's going to be so much easier to get there. I mean, you do this with your clients all the time, no doubt. You have these same conversations with them. What you talk about with your clients is no different to what should happen to you with you and your business. Next one is systems. So we are going to talk about systems stuff today, particularly this kind of blueprint and what you can do with that. But systems runs all the way across your business, right from sort of accounting to marketing to delivering stuff in your programs to following up with clients. Everything should have a system. Because once you've got a system, it gives you the ability to scale. And I think without systems, you may end up doing 10 times the work that you need to do. And you really do drastically reduce your ability to scale. So whenever you can, start looking at these different systems. Some of which things like what we're talking about today can help. Things like the 15 Ninja 101 course can help. Things like the university can help. But whatever you can do, try and look at your day-to-day and look at what you can systemize, automate, and outsource. Because when you start doing that, that's when you start looking at actually building a business. And the last one is support. Like I have never, ever run any business or anything I've been involved with without support. Now, whether that's been family, which has been a big thing for me, staff, VAs, coaches, or whatever it is, building a team is going to really help you thrive as a business. So when I put all this together, I kind of call it the MAS system, mindset, action, systems, and support. And it's a really fundamental thing that runs across everything we do. So we use this when we try and apply our logic to the done for you. So when I'm working with my clients with that and people talk about what they want, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, are they ticking all these boxes? The 101 course, again, follows this kind of process. When it's been the one-to-one course, you'll probably think, actually, I might not have seen this, but when you think about it, the way it's structured actually follows this. It's all about mindset, action, systems, and creating that support. So what is actually holding you back from launching or growing your business? So what I want to do is just quickly go through each one of these things I've talked about. And like literally in the comments, let me know, just basically hit one inside there, 2, 3, or 4 as I work our way through these. And just let me know if any of these sort of ring bell or ring true with you. So mindset. If any of these ring true with you, just hit me a 1 up inside the comments. So mindset. Are your limiting beliefs holding you back? So are your limiting beliefs holding you back? If they are, 1 inside the comments, just let me know. Do you know what you're in business for? Do you know your purpose? Do you know your worth? These things are really, really important. So if any of these, if you're not sure about these, literally hit me up in the comments. Let me know 1. Let me know that is you. That's what you're thinking about. Action. So is fear holding you back? Are you looking for perfection? Do you know what action to take and what with? So again, if that is you, if these rings bells for you, put me a 2 inside the comments. Action. So is fear holding you back? Are you looking for perfection? Is that actually stopping you from doing what you do? Do you actually know what action to take? Do you know what you need to do first in order to get your business running, to improve your business? And what with? Like, do you actually know what you need to take action with in order to do that? Next up is systems. So do you have the systems in place? Can you scale without limits? And do you know the actual systems that you need? So if you feel that these things are holding you back, again, drop me a 3 in the comments as well, just to let me know. Do you have the systems in place? Can you scale without limits? And do you know the systems that you need? And the last one up is support. We've talked about this again. So have you got a support team? Do you feel that you are on your own at all? And are you wearing too many hats? I mean, if this feels like you, if you feel like you're on your own in your business, you feel like you should have to wear the hat of an accountant, a marketeer, a salesperson, a programmer, a PT, a coach, a life coach. If you feel like you're wearing all these different hats, drop me a 4 inside the chat box and let me know inside the comments and just let me know. So mindset 1, action 2, systems 3, support 4. Keep dropping them inside. That's cool. Awesome, Ray. Nice on the 3. Yep, systems are the big thing for a lot of people. Makes a huge, huge difference. So once you're doing that, what I want to do is we're going to focus on kind of 2 of those today, and we're going to break them down a little bit more. And those 2 things we're going to focus on is action and systems. So we're going to look at what actions you can take today and what systems you can actually put in place. And those systems are going to be built around this kind of blueprint in terms of how to deliver stuff. There's obviously lots of other systems that you can use and that you'll need to use inside your business, but we're going to focus mainly on one kind of system, which is the delivery of your services to your clients. So hopefully at the end of this webinar, you'll be able to take away something that is simple that you can action. And we're actually going to take a bit out of something called the super system now. So some of you may have seen this before. You may have heard us talk about it. If you're new to the group, I've got some 3s, some 4s coming in. Cool. That's awesome. If you're new to this group, you may have not heard of the super system before. So what exactly is the super system? Well, the super system is a structure of how you can set up your kind of business if you're not quite sure where you want to start from. And it allows you to meet your clients where you're at. Now, if you're doing anything inside the university, you'll hear this reference to quite a bit. And we talk a little bit about it inside there. But what I want to do today is actually break that down a bit more for you, show you kind of what goes into it. And one of the things we do inside the PT Ninja 101 course is actually create the super system and build it out. So hopefully I'm going to try and switch over and show you what a kind of super systems structure might look like. So hopefully this will work. So apologies if I cut everyone off, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to exit this. And then hopefully you can see my other screen. And then we're going to flip over to the course area. So hopefully this is going to work and hopefully you can see it. I'm going to check to make sure it comes up on here. I think we're good. Yes, it looks promising. Anyway, cool. So up on the screen now, we are looking at a kind of layout for the super system. This is a slightly more advanced super system, which you may have seen inside the university. This is what the system is we try and get our clients to set up with inside the 101 course. So this is not the gold done for you packages where we kind of set whatever you want. This is what we try and help people to set up if they're not really quite sure where they want to go from. And it's also a really cool setup if you really just want to have everything inside your account to try and meet your clients where they're at. And this really does work for most kind of clientele. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to put muscle mass on, whether you're trying to lose weight. It doesn't particularly matter what niche you're in. This kind of structure can be adapted very easily to your different niches and to the different types of clientele. So you can see we split this up into a lead magnet, a challenge, a hybrid, a 12-week kind of flagship program, and a membership program. These are all split into websites and they're split into different groups. And these are all the groups and stuff that we're going to set up inside PTD. But today, we're only going to focus on one of these. And it's the one that I always recommend that you focus on first. And a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people think, right, I'm going to look at what lead magnets I can create, what kind of like cool challenges I can create to try and get people into my program. So what I want to do is flip back over here again and just show you this. So this kind of super system, this lead magnet, this challenge, and this flagship and membership, the thing we should be focused on first really is the flagship. And that's what we're going to do today. And that is because the flagship is your core offer. This is the thing that you're going to ideally get everybody into. And yes, you might try and get long-term relationships with them and build them into your membership after, which is going to give you some really good recurring income. But the flagship is this main thing, this main baby that you want to kind of deliver to your clients. And the lead magnet and the challenge should all lead into that. And it's a shame when I think a lot of people are going to focus on this other stuff first without having a true understanding about what their core offer is, what their core program is they're going to deliver. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on this flagship. So if we're going to look at a flagship program, what is actually going to go into what I call a smart online coaching program? What's actually going to go into this? Well, the first thing it needs to be is simple. Now, this doesn't matter whatever it is you're delivering to your clients. It doesn't particularly matter. 80% of the time, this approach works, and keeping it simple will work for pretty much most people. And simple online makes life a lot easier for you. So it needs to be simple. So it needs to be the minimum required while still achieving maximum results for your clients. So whenever you're doing anything, whenever you're thinking about what's going to go into your program, that's what you need to be thinking about. The minimum you can offer inside that program while still getting the maximum results. Next thing it needs to be is methodical. Everything needs to have a purpose that serves your clients. And I literally see this all the time when people come to work with us. Me and my wife, Sarah, it's try and give you an example. A good example would be forms. So sometimes we'll have a client that signs up and they will send through all these forms, like literally form after form after form, like blood analysis, medical forms, questions upon questions upon questions. And then I say, oh, cool. So what kind of niche work, who you want to work with? And they might say, I'm just doing weight loss for busy sales executives aged between 30 and 40. And I always ask the question thinking, well, why do you need all these forms? Like these forms, these questions have an actual purpose. Like, yes, if you do waivers and things like that for insurance purposes, that's one thing. But all these questions inside these forms, do they serve a purpose? Because at the end of the day, your client is going to sit there and have to answer all these questions. And also you're going to have to sit there and read through all these questions unless the answers to those questions actually affects either the mindset of your client or have an effect on the outcome of the programs you're going to deliver to your clients, then it's an absolute waste of everyone's time. So it's really important that everything you put into this program has a purpose that serves your clients. That's really, really important. The next thing is automated. You might be thinking, well, I want to do like high value stuff. I don't want it to be automated. Everything needs to be customized. Yes, of course, things should be customized. And that's one of the really advantages of the PTD is that you can do that very quickly. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But it should try and be automated. You need to take advantage of repeatable actions. So just like you should do this in your business, you should look at ways to systemize stuff and have stuff repeated. You should try and do this with your programs that you deliver to your clients. Anything you repeat, like the onboarding processes, maybe some of the nutritional stuff that you do, like if you're doing habits, for example, if they're all going to be kind of in the same order and there's certain tracking or whatever it is, that's a repeatable action. Look at ways to automate that. And again, if you do this repeat distinction, it's easy to do. And I'm literally going to show you how to do this in the software in the next 5 minutes. Next one is resilience. So even though it's automated, it needs to allow you to quickly adapt for individuals. At the end of the day, we are coaches and everyone is individual. And we all know that to get the best results from most people, you need to have some customization for your clients. That doesn't mean you have to sit there writing up hours and hours of programming for them. It just means you've got to be a bit smart about it. And you've got to look at, again, what repeatable actions you do and what things can you preset up that you can change and adapt very quickly. I mean, to give you an example, we've got a client currently called Alex, who went through the PT 101 program, doing really well in his business at the moment. But his programs allow him to adapt stuff very quickly. He does pretty much all his coaching now through a Facebook group. But the systems he's got in place mean you can literally customize people's workouts in minutes. It's just about having those kind of right systems in place that are kept simple, methodical, automated, but have the resilience to be adapted. And the last one is being transparent. Everything needs to be crystal clear for your clients. The clearer you can make something, the easier your life is going to be, because your client's not going to hassle you as much. And you might be thinking, oh, cool, I want to be there to help and support my clients. Of course you do. But when you start scaling, and that's at the end of the day what business needs to be about, it needs to be about scalability so you can start making more income and get the lifestyle that you want. When you start scaling, the more transparent, the more clear you are in terms of the content you're delivering and what you want your client to do up front, the easier it's going to be for you, because they're not going to be hassling you with this. You don't want them going in. And when you get to like hundreds of clients or thousands of clients, then you're going to have an issue. You're going to become more of a customer service rep than what you are a coach. And that's the last thing you want. So this transparency is really, really important. So what is this actually going to look like in detail then? So in a second, we're going to have a look at a 12-week flagship blueprint. I'm going to show you the layout of the blueprint. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I'll put inside it. Now, this blueprint is for weight loss and it uses calorie counting. Now, you might be thinking watching this, well, I don't do calorie counting, I do habits. Well, that's cool. That's fine. This blueprint can be adaptable, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And this is kind of one of the blueprints we have inside our course area, our one-on-one course area. It can be fully automated or customized. So this setup allows you to deliver this completely automated, which means it can go out to your clients. And technically speaking, you can step back and let it do its thing. But if you want to customize it for an individual, you can do it very, very quickly. Apologies for the coughing. This blueprint, like I mentioned already, can be adapted to different versions. So some of those versions might be things like habit-based, maybe keto, intermittent fasting, that kind of thing. And again, all these things are inside our course area. We actually have different versions of this blueprint in there depending on the type of approach you want to do. But just because most people we tend to work, most people that go for the course tend to go for the 12-week one, and it's all those people in the course that have recommended we do this, I think that's the one we should focus on today. But I will show you some of the other bits as well. So let's go and have a look. So I'm going to try and come off of this, and I'm going to go and try and show you the actual blueprint itself. So inside the course area, we actually split it up like this. So we give it like a step-by-step guide showing you kind of what goes where, the type it is. It's all color code to make it nice and easy, the time you should put it in, and all the different documents and where you should put. And obviously all these documents we actually give you with the ability to brand it and all that kind of stuff. But just to make it a bit easier for today, just so I can kind of show you an overview of what the whole thing looks like once all these kind of things put together, because you'll notice we actually have different groups there. We have a welcome group and a flagship group, and that's to do with the technical side of it, to actually make it all work efficiently for your client. So you can kind of onboard a client and then allow the actual main program to start on a different day or a different date, depending on the approach you want to do. But just to make it a bit easier, because obviously you haven't been through the rest of the course to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here, what I've actually done is put this blueprint together. Now, this, for anyone that's watching that may be a done for you client of mine, that from the gold package will probably recognize this or recognize something similar to this. This is the kind of layout of an entire program. And this program basically is going to be kind of a 12-week blueprint that would deliver out to people. And what I'm going to do is just quickly run through this with you, show you some of the stuff, talk to you about why I think this approach works well, how it links to the stuff we talked about already, and then I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like inside PTD. Don't forget as well, if anyone has got any questions, just drop them into the comments and let me know as we go. So we are going to be talking about things. So if you're not sure about something I'm talking about, or you want me to elaborate a bit more, literally feel free to jump in and ask the question. So first of all, we onboard a client. That's the first thing we do inside there. So we look at like a welcome email that goes out, maybe some sort of welcome video or document that I would recommend, like park using form content, any particular forms that you need. Remember that approach, you're going to be as simple as possible and being methodical and making sure it's something that your clients actually need when you're doing that. Some results tracking in there, and then again, so we can track results over time, really, really important. But also then we put in like a document about how to track results. I'll be amazed how many people don't put this in, where let's say a client goes in there, you turn some results tracking on, some measurements and some taking weight, but you'll be surprised how many people we work with as coaches, and I know from my experience especially, and from the people I've worked with on the Done For You programs, that most of our clients haven't got a clue how to take measurements properly or to weigh themselves properly. So having some kind of document in there is a really, really good idea. And again, things that everything I'm talking about here is all inside that 101 course. If you ever did want to get some help with this, you can find it all inside there anyway. So we have that welcome group, and the idea here is we have this in one group and we actually onboard them and bring them into it. So if I just flick over to PT Distinction, I'm actually using, I'm sure you won't mind, one of our new Done For You clients who hasn't launched his business yet, but we've got this pretty much a similar setup set up inside his account. And we've set a load of different groups up for him based on his program, as you can see here. And I'm going to open up this welcome group just to show you what I mean. So we have this 12-week flagship welcome group. And inside here, all we've done, following that blueprint, is we've, inside the message center, we have this kind of welcome email that goes out. You can see it inside here with all the information and stuff in, all the links to his Facebook group. Nice and simple, just so it's super clear what they do. We have the welcome document set up for him inside there. And we also have things like in this results tracking area. Let's open up so you can see it. You can see all the tracking switched on, and we have documents like this that explain to the client how they can actually track their results, take the measurements and things like that. So again, already starting to look at how we can make things clearer for our client, make things simple for our client. There's no massive long emails, there's no over the top stuff. It's all very simple things, simple videos showing people. I always have kind of a rule of thumb that if it takes the client more than 5 minutes to do something inside the app, it's too long. It doesn't need to be more than 5 minutes. The only exception to that is normally kind of a workout or something like that, or maybe completing the odd forms, but even a form shouldn't take more than 5 minutes realistically. So I always try and have that rule of thumb in my head. If you think it's going to take more than 5 minutes, it's probably too long for them. After that, we start then looking at things like this here, where we have like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and we start breaking those down. So I've kind of got this in sections here, and this is one of the first things. And again, we're talking more about the calorie counting. If people want to look at other ways of doing this, you want to talk about habits and stuff like that, we can talk about that. Just let me know in the comments if you use habits, or if you use calorie counting or macro counting or whatever inside your program. But we're going to mainly focus now a bit around the calorie side. But you'll notice even in this first kind of like 6 weeks here, we don't even get them to download MyFitnessPal. Like literally, I've got them over here in week 6 when they download MyFitnessPal. So you might be thinking, well, how is this client going to track calories properly if it's in MyFitnessPal? Then, well, the reason is, and this is what, again, we found through experience, is that I could go to a client and say, go download MyFitnessPal, track all your meals for a week. I could look at it and go, okay, you're eating this much, you're eating too much, you need to do this amount of exercise and eat this many calories. And by rights, you would probably get results from your clients. Ray, would you recommend videos over docs? I generally do recommend videos over docs, and I'll show you what I would do. I'll mix both together. Kelly does habits, cool. This might make sense as well for you, Kelly, as well, when I'm talking about habits here, because in essence, the first 6 weeks is like building up simple habits. But I will show you in about 5 minutes time, 10 minutes time, I'll show you like a version of this that you can do with habits as well. And again, like inside our 101 course, we literally have all the habits and stuff set up inside there, so you can like plug them into your system and away you go. But yeah, I will show you some stuff on there in a second. Kelly and Ray, I'll go through how I would do it with the videos and stuff in terms of docs and videos together. So this kind of first 4 weeks here would break it down really simple. And the reason, like I've said there, if I was to tell a client to just go and have this many calories, the chances are they might do it for a week, probably going to underreport, and they're probably going to get a bit disheartened with it. And the reason is because they've never done that before. You're asking for most part, I'm talking about 80% of people we tend to work with here. For the most part, most people have probably never counted calories before. They don't really understand the foods they're eating yet. They might not necessarily understand what a calorie actually translates to. They might not know how to track properly, how to work out what's inside meals, all sorts of reasons why this could not work for them. And it's a big effort. It's a big change from doing nothing to all this. So what we've tried to do in this thing, this has been very successful for me when I did it, and for literally hundreds of our done for you stuff, we do a similar sort of setup to this, is that we break it down. So the first like few days, we get them to go and track meals by taking photos, literally just taking photos and uploading it. And I know what you're thinking. I said you could have this as completely automated. Well, you can. If I just flip back over to this account here, and I'm going to type in this 12-week group that we've set up inside here, and just pull this up and show you what I mean. So I'm going to go in here, and we're going to go into programs there, into the schedule, and show about days after joining. And you'll see here we have that kind of record what you eat task. So this kind of like shows the client what they got to do. And then down here we have this little food diary. Just ask them to upload their photos. So photos from any meals and stuff they have. We don't necessarily say to them that you have to do all of them. You just need to pick a few meals and chuck them inside there. Now, if you're doing coaching work with them, if you're speaking to them, you can give them feedback. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get on a call with them and have a conversation with them. You can do this through the app, like inside the food diary, for example. We'll just open up the food diary and have a look at it. Inside the food diary, as I can't view it inside here, I'll just go into a client account and show you what I mean. Let's go to the example client. So inside the food diary, as I said that 3 times now, you can actually give feedback. So when your clients are adding in images and stuff like that, if you want to do kind of a semi-automated thing where you're giving feedback on stuff, you can actually go directly into the food diary, just click add feedback and add feedback directly on that image. And your clients will get a notification through to do that. So there's different ways of doing it without necessarily having to get on calls. And the advantage of that is that you have a bit more control over your time. It allows you to scale a bit better more than having to rely on people getting into calls. There's also ways to do it through things like Facebook groups where you can do like a screen share, show a couple of examples of meals that people have been having and do it as kind of like a group thing. That's a cool way of doing it, which some of our clients do. There's loads of different ways of doing it. Or the other option is using something like this. And again, this is something that we put inside the 101 course that like Dan and a few other people have used, where they've added their brand into it and stuff. And we just basically give them an idea of how they can assess their own diary. So we get them to look back over their images. They can kind of look at different foods they can choose from. We just say, well, how many of these kind of foods did you have inside in your meals? If you were hitting it 80% of the time, happy days. If it was a bit less than that, then well, maybe we should look at making changes. This document goes through all of that. We talk about how they can dress up their food. And then we start looking at things like the portion control. So I think a lot of people here would recognize some of this stuff, very similar to the PM side of approach, but it works really well. And you can use stuff like this to try and help them assess their meal size, look at their portions and go, oh, maybe that's a bit too much of a portion, too less of a portion. And you'll also notice we color code everything as well, because one thing we've found within programs is that you can sit there and explain to a client, this is the protein, this is the fat, this is a carbohydrate. Most of the time it goes straight over their heads. But what we've actually found is that if you don't really actually tell them, we just kind of split them up like this, where you have little sort of names like these are all proteins, carbs and fats. It's just color coded. And then they associate that color with this. And then whenever we're doing things like our recipe books, we put inside like the course of people in our clients, or we do like any kind of sample meal plans or whatever, if you want to have them in, you can always color code them so your clients kind of know what to swap out, and they start learning these different things through association. And it's amazing just how quick they actually pick these things up. And then we actually teach them how to adapt their meals from that. So their fullness cues, they start looking at it and they can make adjustments and things. Question coming in there. Can we change color? Back and forth dial gets a bit confusing sometimes. Change color. What do you mean color? As in on the branding, or? Yeah, just want to go in a bit more detail about the color side of it. I'll let you know. Because I'm not quite sure what you mean about the dial can get a bit confusing. You mean color on side of the documents? Cool. If it's documents you're talking about, yes, like literally in the course there, you can have any colors you want inside there, any color you want. Cool. So, I completely forgot where I was now. So yeah, we've got like the assessing the food diary, so you can kind of start to automate that particular process. And then once we've done that, we actually start giving them different tasks. So over the next few weeks, I'll give them like a breakfast task, a lunch task, and a dinner task. And this particular client here, they've decided to, on measuring food, yeah, you could use colors. So you want to use different colors. Yeah, if you want to messaging on food with the pics of food, yeah, you can change the colors on the pics of food if you want to. Have any color you want to. Like literally the documents are completely adaptable. So if you want different colors, you can put different colors on there. Yeah, it's entirely up to you what color you want. Cool, no worries. Yeah, so like things like the breakfast side of it, the lunch side and the dinner side, this is about introducing just one meal at a time, get them to work on one thing at a time. And again, inside here, if we go back to PTD, I'll just skip through. You can see here, if I go back to the group, it'll be easier to see it inside the group. So they're being inside this test client. Let's go back to the group. Back to those after joining. You see here we have like this getting the right breakfast. So again, we have this document. So this particular client here was using, wanted like a kind of a very low carb breakfast. So you can see, changed it slightly, adapted it. Again, different portions and stuff inside here, but just working on that and how they can get the right breakfast, how they can adapt it. I guess it's self-adapting. Now, I'll keep talking through this. In theory, a client could read this. But as someone's mentioned there already about videos, you may want to use videos. And what I generally find effective is using a software like something like Loom, L-O-O-M, if you're not seeing it. And the advantage of Loom is you can actually have, like we've got here on this kind of this live, got one face in the corner and then the screen up front. And you can actually talk the client through this. So you can actually pull this up on the screen so they will see exactly what they're going to see when they log in. And they can go through this and you can explain in a bit more detail to them, talk about different things, give them little bits of like snippets of advice and help. And then whenever you do videos, I'd always recommend you have like a clear kind of action for them to take. So you can say, okay, cool, this is what I want you to go and do. And then after that, I want you to take photos of your breakfast for the next week. That's literally going to be the task for them to do. It does say that inside here, but I'd also mention it inside the video so it's clear. And just explain how you're going to follow up with them. So the week after that, we'll then follow up and see how you get on. Explain that kind of stuff inside the video. Again, keep them short, no more than 5 minutes, because after 5 minutes, most people will probably switch off anyway. So it's a good idea to keep it nice and simple, nice and sweet. Cool, let's head back over here. And you can see that starts to progress. We have the perfect lunch. We started introducing some activity stuff in here as well. Again, very simple, very basic. We will talk about workouts as well. I know some people mentioned about workouts. Again, introduce dinner a few weeks after. And again, to start tracking as we go. We have the food diary set up in here just to give them a reminder. Just tell them, please upload your photos from breakfast today. Please upload your photos from dinner. And the idea is over this first 4 weeks, as you can see here, they will start to build out these meals. And because they're already making those adjustments, because they're already starting to become a bit more aware of the food that they're eating, they will start making those changes. They've already invested in your program anyway. They've already started to make the changes because they're aware of the foods they're eating. And they'll get the breakfast sorted, so they maybe lost a few calories there because they're organising the breakfast properly. Lunch, they're organising the breakfast properly, their lunch properly, using the hand portions and making the adjustments themselves, again, working on awareness. And then they're already going to start losing the weight, because obviously this is the weight loss program that we're giving an example for here. Then at the end of that, we bring them into this little breakfast test thing. And this is what I used to do. And it's also what this particular client, Dan, is doing inside his program. But you don't obviously have to do this kind of stuff inside there. It all depends on the type of clients you have. You can adapt and adjust it. But again, keeping it simple, keeping it progressive over time. All we do here is really build on that awareness, because this trainer in particular wanted to not only just do the calorie side of it, but also want to look at making sure they perform their best. And by performance, we want to make sure the foods that they're eating made them feel good. So the way we tried to do that was by doing this breakfast test. And the whole idea was that we would get the client to just eat a breakfast, different type of breakfast for 3 days. I'll show you inside the P2D account, actually. As you can see here, we have the actual breakfast test document that explains to them how they're going to do it. You can do a little video talking them through this if you want to. He decided to write it in his. And then over here, we have these little breakfast tests here where they can give like a review on their particular breakfast. So it talks about like how it made them feel, if it felt good, all that kind of stuff. And then they'll take photos inside their food diary. And he used that information then to adjust the calories, adjust the macro split based on the calories for his clients. We'll talk about how you do that in a second and how you speed that thing up. So this is kind of like a semi-automated point. Up at this point, he's not really had to do anything until he gets into sort of week 4 where this happens. And then when this happens, he has to start putting a bit of input into each client. You don't necessarily have to do that. Like, you don't have to include this kind of thing into it. Like I say, we put stuff like this into our course area, but you don't necessarily need to have it. You can just do it, which I'll show you in a second, a different way of doing it. Then after that, we're going to download MyFitnessPal. And again, this is all about clarity. So we like to make it nice and simple. We're actually giving them a document, showing them MyFitnessPal, show them how they can download it with links in there. So if they're using the app, they can literally open it up, click the link on the PDF that appears, and then boom, it takes them through to MyFitnessPal. They can download it, hit back, it takes them back into the app again. And then down this way, shows them exactly how to enter the information we're giving them. In this case, this particular client was using macros. You don't have to. And then it shows exactly how the whole thing is going to be connected together, all of his branding on and stuff like that. So it looks cool. And then it shows him how to connect it to his members area. So the P2D area, but members as far as his clients are concerned. Again, that clarity there. There's no need for you to explain stuff over and over again when every client you're going to work with is going to go through stuff like that. Then in this case, if I flip back over here again, we started to get them to track. Kind of a similar thing before. We already got these meals together. We got them to use MyFitnessPal just to track their breakfast. So they track the breakfast using those hand portion controls that I did before. Then they'll track their lunch, and then they'll track their dinner again. And you might be thinking this might be quite a slow process, but because they're having this awareness, they're already making changes, they're already making adaptations, and now you just get them to track stuff. So they're practicing that tracking over time, and it becomes more natural for them. It starts to become a habit. Then when we actually get to, I'll flip back over to here. When we start getting into tracking others, so we see tracking lunch there, you can see tracking dinner. Then we get towards the end, we actually look at the macros and stuff that can go out there. So we talk about building out his hand portions in this one, like I mentioned there, and tracking it with his MyFitnessPal. But eventually, we will get to I'll open this up here, a bit about his calories. So there's loads of different ways of doing this. We've got quite a few ways in our course area for doing it. We can actually get the client to do it. So we can get them to look back over, like we've done in this case, the total calories and divide it by 7 to give them their average calories and do it that way. That's one way clients have done it. We've had people do it with linking to calculators inside here. So click it, takes them through to it, which is not really my favorite way of doing it. I think it becomes a bit overcomplicated. But one of the best ways I like to do it is actually you going in there and just putting the calories in for them. It takes very little amount of effort. I mean, literally all you would do inside your client's account is just go to the coaching area, click on the document you want to add it in, and then just click edit content. You can literally just type in the calories you want the client to have inside this document here. And then that's be individualized for each client. It takes literally a few seconds to do. So there's lots of ways of doing it. All those different ways, if I just flip back actually over here, if you look at the swipe files inside the, I think it's this one. Yeah, the flagship swipe files inside here, we actually have a lot of that stuff in here already. So if I flick down, you'll see how you can actually set out the calories and macros for people. You can kind of copy and paste these into your coaching documents so you can use them and just add in the calories if you want to. So there's loads of different ways of doing it, but this is the kind of way that he's done it on this client one here. But you can see the whole idea of keeping it nice and simple, drip feeding content over time for your clients so they start learning progressively what they need to do, and then we start making those reductions towards the end. I know some people there mentioned, hi Sam, nice to join us. I know some people there mentioned about habits. You can do exactly the same thing with habits. If I just flick over here, we had this kind of habit blueprint. So we had one like this, which was a 12-week one. So we started introducing like habits to drip feeding out to them, gave them some different habit documents. I think we've actually got some inside this program. I could be wrong. I'll just double check. If not, I'll show you a couple. I think he had a 6-month one. Just click setup. Yeah, here we go. So like in here, we've dropped some habits and stuff in for different clients. These just drip feed out to them with all the habit tracking and stuff set up. And that's in essence what you would set up with this one. So you can have like a habit program that drip feeds out to your clients. And again, I'd probably do it in a similar way. Every couple of weeks, have it go out there, have the tracking scheduled in each week. And then like inside the coaching area here, have all your different documents to work people through. So if we just view this one, you can see here, you can have like a branded document out here, different foods to choose from. Again, super, super simple. Like you don't have to go into a lot of detail about why. Some of the feedback we've had before in the past from a lot of trainers we've worked with is from their clients is that they've used other programs to deliver habits that would have been preset. And some of their clients, you know, it was great when they first started, they're getting some, you know, some awesome results from it. But over the space of like a few months, giving up 20, 30 minutes a day for a lesson is just not that practical for most people that do online stuff. It's about being simple. And again, it's about that minimum viable dose. I think you probably heard Tim Drummond speak about it before, this minimum viable dose. And to this, you don't really need to go in a huge amount of detail. I mean, for me anyway, I know I'm quite busy all the time. So if I understand the basics about why, things to go and choose from, and then talk about how I can personalize this habit and how I can make it easy, that's what I'll just do with my client. Again, I can do a little video, I can talk about this, I can look about how they can personalize it, and then all we do is get to check in. Every day they go through their schedule. Again, let's just go and look at the schedule on here. Let's go a couple of days in so you can see it. And like down here, look, we have the schedule every day, so they can click on that and say, yes, they have, no, they haven't. And that's it, nice and simple. And it's their own targets, it's their own decisions. So even from a coaching point of view, it allows them to get involved with that decision-making process and become accountable for themselves as well. So I generally prefer to try and do it that way and keep it really simple. Now, of course, if you wanted to put other stuff inside there, other videos and things like that, that's fine. I just recommend you keep it simple as possible and make sure whatever you're doing there is helping your clients get towards that end result. So I think that's kind of important. Don't be afraid to hold back on stuff is what I'm saying, basically. Like, you don't always have to give lots and lots. I know you feel like you want to sometimes online because you're not physically there, but sometimes too much information is too much and it becomes overwhelming. It's almost like drinking from a fire hose for most people. There are obviously exceptions to the rule, but I've literally found that over 80% of the time, this is what's preferred by most clients in the end and what ends up happening anyway. So yeah, habits still can be set up that way. Let's flip back over to here again. I know people mention about workouts and stuff and about how you can develop workouts for an online program that's kind of fully automated. Well, from a workout point of view, again, the same rules apply or the same guidelines should apply. It needs to be simple and effective. Follow those SMART rules, basically. So if we look inside here, let's pull up a template one. Let's go in there. Oh, no, edit this one, I think. Edit this one. So like inside here, that I always have some general ideas when I'm trying to build up workouts. And again, just from my experience with the done for you stuff and seeing like kind of what works and what doesn't. I mean, literally, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing trainers, and the amount of information we get sent through sometimes is really, really cool. We build out whatever people want, especially with the gold package. But because of that, you get to see what works well and what doesn't. And literally, this kind of approach I'm talking about here works well more than 80% of the time. And same with the workout side. I've seen programs where they want to keep things fun. They want to have different exercises and workouts every single day for these clients. And they just don't do it. I mean, literally, they just don't do it. Because what generally happens most of the time, obviously the exceptions, but most of the time, is that they will have to learn a particular workout, learn some exercises, learn something new. And then they'll go to the next lesson, they have to do it again. So these kind of 20, 30, 40-minute lessons then become an hour, 90-minute sessions because they're having to go through, watch the videos, think about it. They haven't got that flow. So we found like an optimum number. The optimum kind of number that's come up is trying to keep the workouts roughly the same for about 4 weeks before you start to change them up again. And again, there may be exceptions to the rule depending on the type of clients you work with. But for the majority of people that we've worked with, this has generally worked pretty well. So trying to keep it that way. Of course, you can change the acute variables of each one. But yeah, generally trying to keep it the same is good. But throughout the entire program, especially with like a flagship program like this, I always think it's a good idea to try and keep the structure the same. So like here, when you're structuring out your workout, I would keep it as literally like this. I try and have it so you have your workout name, and then use your notes section here to maybe just explain this extra clarity. So talk about what it is. If you're going to call this Monday, call it upper body, workout 1, master of arms, whatever you want to call it, like keep it clear so your client knows what's about to happen. This clarity is going to save you so much time. And this is where you'd add that extra clarity for it. Then in each section, again, explain what's happening in that section and add some clarity. These note sections are really, really useful for this. Add clarity about what's going to happen inside that area. And then same here for the exercises. When you add your exercises and stuff in, just add that extra clarity. So if you want to add extra notes in there, you can do. If you want to edit the exercise and change the description so it's a bit clearer, you can do. It's really important that you add that clarity in there because it's going to make, honestly, your life so much easier. And trying to keep that structure throughout the entire time you're with them is going to make your client's life easier. So let me just give you an example of that. If I just minimize this one, like here's kind of how you may wish to structure a workout. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. Obviously, different clients are different. I mean, if you're doing things like just body weight stuff at home, you could probably mix it up a bit more because most people are quite comfortable with body weight exercises. If you're doing gym-based stuff, which is like this one, for example, you may want to follow a similar sort of structure. So this is the structure, let's say I would follow as an example. I'd have a warm-up, an explosive section, strength section, superset, and a finisher. And we can just open those up here. And all I've done here is on the upper body one, the notes section, just to explain the focus of the session, why we're kind of doing it. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. You don't have to have lots and lots of videos telling people to do stuff. You can just literally go into these workout notes and add a bit of information there. Because again, it's that minimum viable amount. Clients probably don't have a lot of time. They don't want to be in the app reading it all the time in the gym. They want to go, that's what I need to do. You're going to get much better results from your clients that way. Then we can break it down some more. So I've gone for the warm up here, as you can see, nice and simple. And inside here, just quickly explaining this is the warm-up, why it's important. You don't have to go into too much detail again. You want to educate people a little bit, of course you do. I mean, that's what most people like to do, but just keep it simple. Like, they're not scientists, it's not anything special. They don't need to know the ins and outs. They just need to know kind of why it's important and why it's going to benefit them. And I think that's the important thing. Most of our clients probably don't care about the ins and outs workings of the human body, but most of them care about how whatever you get them to do is going to benefit them. So that's the kind of information you want to be kind of giving them. And again, just keep it simple. Then you could have something like an explosive bit again, explaining why it's going to benefit it. And then in this example, I've got a strength one. Again, the clarity for the notes. If you're doing things like supersets, I get asked about this quite a lot. You're adding things like supersets, drop sets, whatever it is. Again, try and keep it as simple as possible, but use the note section. So explain what a superset is, a circuit is, a drop set is, and just add that clarity in there. A couple of questions coming in. How do you self-organize your groups to drip feed content on your new habit every few weeks, or habits in one group, different groups? Cool. I'll show you. That'll be a way of doing it. So what I'll do, Kelly, is I'll just quickly finish this bit off, and then I'll show you how you can kind of put this stuff together. So once you've done that, if you follow that same kind of structure, again, finisher at the end, with that extra clarity, and like this example is just using like a HIIT workout, a Tabata workout, but you can obviously just add that clarity using that note section for your clients, so it's clear about what they need to do. Then you can follow that same structure then for the rest of it. So you can have upper body, lower body, full body. An example is a 3-day one. So it's super, super clear. A lot of people do ask about scheduling. It's entirely up to you again. I'm trying to show you something here that you can use as an automated thing that you can tweak and adapt, and which obviously you can do. But with this, if you want to make it more automated, I probably recommend you don't necessarily schedule stuff, because even though you're scheduling stuff, you can give the client the option to move stuff around. They don't. They'll probably ask you a question saying, can I do this on a different day? And that's obviously more time for you. So you want to try and preempt that. So I wouldn't even bother with scheduling. I would actually have a little video to start off with saying, well, I've added in your programs. We're going to get started. Go to your programs area. Literally use that Loom software I said and show them. Go to here. These are your programs. You're going to follow these through. I'll add you some new programs every 4 weeks. That's it. Super clear, super simple, no misunderstanding about it. And then use the notes section at the top here to just add in that extra clarity, explain what the targets are. So if you want them to do 3 workouts a week, you can recommend them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it can be any day they want. You can put it in there. If you want to say do 4 workouts a week with at least 1 day's rest between 2 workouts, write it in there. And again, just quickly mention inside that little video, just so it's clear for your clients adding in that clarity. Okay, cool. So let's go back. So Kelly was mentioning about group content. So we kind of looked at it inside, where has it gone? So many windows open at the moment. The the way I set up groups, are a couple of ways that we do it. So when we're in the Ninja course, let me go and find it. Flagship setup guide. Nope, it's up here at the top. Where we go? I'm building your services. So I try and split up groups like this to start off with, using like this kind of setup. But as you come down here, you can see kind of how the groups split up. But at the bottom, we have this kind of membership habits group, one that's fully set up. So a bit like the one I kind of shown you a second ago in Dan's account. But you'll also notice I've got like create multiple groups for flexibility. So basically what I'm saying, the answer to your question is I'll do both. And this is what I recommend for most people to set up. So people that go through the course will set this structure up first. And then what happens is they come down to the white label area down here, and they tend to like just download all the habits. And then they follow my little walkthrough guide here, just showing them how they can set it up as individual groups with all the tracking and things. But I'll show you some examples of that. So if we go into P2D here, I believe Dan's done it this way. But if not, I can log into my account and I can show you because I've got it set up there. I think he has because he's got 44 groups. So you see here we had the 6-month content one, which had all of them set out in one go with all the tracking and stuff in there, which is cool if you want to automate it. But if you want to change the kind of order of the habits, it can obviously be a bit tricky. It could take you a lot of time moving it backwards and forwards. So what you can do is you can actually add in individual groups. So if you come down here, you'll see here we've actually split up the different groups. So we've got like eat protein with every meal, eat custom single ingredient foods, eat slower, and all that kind of stuff. And inside each one of these, if you've actually got it set up, but I'll just double check. So let's say, if not, I'll go into mine. I can show you. We use this one. Yeah, so it's inside here. So he's got his document, first one set up. Same for all these individual groups. Goes out on joining client, protein document in there, with his branding and stuff on. And then tracking set up to go out copying a client, and it's scheduled every day to go out for him in the evening so they can check in and say yes or no. Now what that does, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold today. What that does is it allows you to remove that 6-month group and add in a new one. So we might be able to do it actually. We could probably do it with his custom client. So let's have a look at his example client. And we'll actually have a go at doing it. So inside his example client, we have basically clients set up with a 12-week flagship program. So his 12-week flagship program. So we've got like a mail out group here, the welcome group, the results tracking group, the automated workouts. I'll talk about that in just a second and just kind of show you what I mean by that. And then like a weekly review stuff. So this is basically the stuff that's within inside, not just the blueprint, but also within inside the super system layout that we have inside the 101 course. And then if I close it off and we come down here, you'll see all that content is in there and it's starting to drip feed out. So now those groups have automatically copied over. Just to give you an idea, what we've done here is this program was all put inside a pre-made package. If you don't know what a pre-made package is a way you can take all those groups that you set up, put them into this particular package, and you can add this code to your website. When it goes onto your website, it can be part of a sales page and someone can sign up, pay, and then all the onboarding and delivery of this content is automatic. Now, even though this is a kind of semi-customized program for Daniel, what this basically means is a client can start to get onboarded, and technically speaking, he has 4 weeks before he has to technically do anything other than give a bit of feedback and reviews and stuff. So it gives him time. So even if you're on holiday or whatever, you've still got time to actually start dealing with that client, and you can sell them all the time for your website. And one of the things we actually do on the 101 course again is look at like the sales pages, how to integrate that stuff into it, but also how to structure your sales page, put your copy in. We even give you like I think Dan's using on this one, where you can literally take the information that's there and plug it into like a WordPress site, and it builds the page out for you. So there's loads of cool stuff like that to help, which we've done here for that integration side. But so I'm not going to go too much detail on it here because we could be here all day talking about that side of stuff. I'll just try and focus on this bit here. But all that information drip feeds out to them. But let's say, like you said there, you want to do like the habits instead. So in the programs area, we've got the workouts that are drip feeding out to the clients. And we've got things like the how to track your measurements are in here, the results tracking, all that kind of stuff. Now, if you had that all in one group, you would have to delete everything individually, and you would have to re-add all that stuff back in or move it around, which can take a bit of time. But let's say here, I want to keep this client, all the onboarding the same, all the tracking the same, all the workouts the same, but I want to do habits and not the flagship program, because maybe this nutrition, this kind of calorie count is too much. What I do is I go to groups, I go up on here, and then I just literally just go and remove the flagship program. click OK. As you can see now, all that content's gone. I can then go back to my groups and I can do two things. I can think, right, I'm going to introduce the habits first. So I'm just going to go for a 6-month fully automated one. So click add group, go onto this, and I can go and find my 6-month content or habit content, depending on what you do it. And I can add it in. Now I can actually add it in straight away, which I'll do now so you can see it. But I can actually pick a date in the future or a day I want it to start. Let's say I want to start these habits on a Monday, for example. So I can choose when I want these to start. But if I hit now and click add, click OK. And then as you see, all that content has now been added in, drip feeding out to client automatically. And then in the scheduling as well, we can actually go and find the habit tracking for that is all set up as well, going out to them automatically for that particular client. So like you said there as well, Kelly, what do you want to change the order of this? So all you do then is go on to your 6-month content, remove that, click OK. And I go, right, then let's start thinking about what habits this particular client wants to do. So I can go on to add group, hit my drop-down menu, find the habit I want to add in. So let's say that's eat fats with every meal. And I add that in now straight away and click OK. So now that coaching content has now gone in. And let's say I want to then deliver in 2 weeks' time protein for them. It'd be a bit of a pain if I had to come back in 2 weeks' time and add it back in again. So to make my life easier, I'll just go to groups, hit ads, hit the drop-down menu, select the protein one, pick date and add it in 2 weeks' time and click add. Okay. And I'll do the same again for my next one. So I want to add them a different one. Maybe after that, I want them to work on eating veg every meal. Pick a date, go for 2 weeks' time, add it in. And I can basically start to build out this structure like this to actually add more content, add more content, add more content. So it drip feeds over time. But I can also go in and adapt and adjust things. And again, with this kind of blueprint we've talked about, to make things simple, so you ain't got to give a lot of time up, you can use things like these weekly review emails and stuff that go out just to make life a little bit easier for you. So you don't have to keep getting on calls with them. You can just adapt stuff based on the information they're putting in. So hopefully that makes sense, Kelly, in terms of the nutrition side. I did mention I'll look at the workout side as well. So we talked about these automated workouts. So down here, as the client onboards for this particular client, he's got workouts going to him automatically. And he's decided to have the client to choose between a home and gym version. So it's entirely what you do. Hi, Joe. Hello. Joe's just joining us. So you can have them drip feed out this and you can choose between home and gym workouts. So what happens if you want to change that? Now, of course, you can go into each one of these and you can adapt these. But these are pretty simple ones to start off with. What happens if you want to do something slightly different? What happens if you need to change this to maybe more intermediate or advanced setup? So what you can actually do is use your groups again. And again, this is all inside the 101 course. We'll give you the stuff to set this up. You go to the automated one, you hit remove, click OK, and it goes. So all those workouts are gone. You click add group, hit the drop-down menu. And you'll see here, we can actually have other workout groups set up. So you could have like a custom program advanced gym workouts, and you can add that in straight away, or you can pick different days or dates for it to start on. And all that does is then drops in those workouts to be added in. And then you can go in there and adjust those individual workouts for that client. So again, saving you so much time. The other advantage of doing it this way as well, and I know a lot of people talk about this, if you use groups more than just templates all the time, is because of course you could just go to add program and templates. If you did want to schedule stuff and add progressions in, use it from template, you'd have to do it every individual time for a client. But if you wanted to do it for your groups, you can actually schedule the stuff out already within that group for your client. And then once you've done that, those scheduling progressions are always going to be there when you add in that group. So again, it just saves you no end of time by doing it. So yeah, hopefully that all makes sense. There's another question there. Will this be at a location for us to go over if we have a bulk do overlapping schedule? Yes, of course it will. No problem. Yeah, I'll keep it. It'll be inside the group anyway, and I'll put it inside my my blog, Danny. Not too far being done anyway. I know I've gone through a lot there, kind of show you what this kind of like a blueprint would look like and how you can just speed things up inside. And again, like I know we talked about this 12-week blueprint, but you can adapt and build on this. And that's the idea of this. It is literally just a blueprint. But following those rules, those kind of rules, those guidelines about keeping it simple, keeping it progressive, doing small amounts and building upon it works for everything, not just for the habit coaching, but it works for things like the calorie counting if you want to do that. Same for the workout, simple, repeatable. It just makes things easier. And again, with all the stuff we talked about here, you can actually make things bigger. I mean, we've literally got people that have set up 12-month programs. I think I've got someone set up in here actually want to look at it like this. You can actually pull, again, he actually pulled all the content out of our our 101 course, branded it all and put it all in. He built this. Like, this is literally a year-long program with all the habit tracking in that actually progressed. And it was kind of cool, actually, the way he did it. He got it so it went all the way through all the habits first. As he built the habits up, he then got them to kind of do what we've just talked about, like get them to start building their meals out, breakfast first, lunch, and then dinner. Then got to download MyFitnessPal and track it. And over the space of the year, he moved him through that entire process. Really, really cool, actually, how he did it. Really impressed. Didn't take him too long to do it either, but I was quite impressed with it, how he did it. All right, cool. Has anyone got any questions? Anything you want to ask or look at or go over? No? Cool. Awesome. Happy days. Just whilst I'm on here as well, like I mentioned, if a lot of the stuff we've talked about, obviously I know there's a lot in here. We've shown a lot of stuff inside here as well. So obviously go back, watch this through and try and get some ideas. If you do need help setting this up, or if you want, you basically want the content, like I say, everything we've shown inside here, you have access to all this content. Everything you see inside these groups, this setup, you can have access to all of that. We do have something called, which I'm kind of showing you already, this PT Ninja 101 course, which is basically a course that takes you through everything, talks about the mindset side of stuff, how to understand your clients, work out who your clients are, how to price your services properly. That's a huge thing we get asked about all the time, like pricing for clients, and trying to get your service right. Then how to build your services, how to build this blueprint out, adapt it for yours, setting up your groups. We then take you through everything. So everything we've done here, we show you how to set up each group, give you the content, tell you exactly where to put it as well. Then we look at how to get your first online clients, then setting up your challenges. We do things like setting up your lead magnets and give you kind of my ultimate lead magnet so you can actually help bring people in. Loads of cool stuff on there. Talk about websites and sales pages as well. Like I mentioned earlier, if you need help with that, there's stuff inside there where you can literally like plug in the sales page. Like, you can literally download it and put it in. We talk about how you can then write up your sales page and create it in a bit more detail and build it out and add that in. Loads of cool stuff in here. Then we talk about how to manage your groups effectively. So how that kind of group system I talked about there, that's showing you how you can move your habits around and things. We show you how you can do that properly, how you can set up a proper membership group, how you can adjust when things go live, just to give you that extra flexibility, and how you can literally customize programs for your clients in just a few seconds, literally just a few seconds. And then we show you really how to use this system, how all the automation works, how to create that customizable habit system that you talked about there, Kelly. Loads of cool stuff inside, extra stuff inside. And we have obviously the white label library, which has loads of bonus stuff in there, like client walkthrough guides, habits are in there, bonus sales emails are inside there. We have like meal plans and recipes that you can download from in here. Video scripts, so if you need help like creating your videos and stuff, they're in there. And then we also have different versions of things. So like if you're into like intermittent fasting, for example, we've got like a video and stuff here that shows you how to take the setup. So like everything you've done up here at the top, you work your way through that and then help get itself. And basically, if you do that and you work your way through it, you will understand PTD pretty much inside out. And you'll have everything you need to deliver something and meet your clients where they're at. But obviously that main setup there has calorie counting in there. So once you want to do habits, once if you want to do intermittent fasting, once you want to do keto, obviously it's not fair if we don't give you that stuff. So we've created all that as well. So like we've created things like intermittent fasting versions of the guides, keto versions of the guide, a whole habit version. We give you all the adaptable stuff. We show you how to go and swap that out, how you swap out different test documents, how you have different PDFs and stuff for intermittent fasting and so on for the challenges, for your main guides. Loads of cool stuff in there. And of course, there's the help and support as well, which is like probably the main thing that a lot of people like. I think Alex, who I think he was watching a minute ago, loves the support side of this. We have like a 2 weekly mastermind where loads of us just get together and just chat about whatever. And obviously we have a separate kind of support Facebook group as well that works really well with this. So yeah, there's loads of cool stuff in there if you need extra help and support with it all, if you want that. What was another question from there? Curious about individualizing mentoring and the costs. We reached out about this. I'll send a comprehensive list well outlined. Discovering things forward. I'm ready for push campaigns. Interested. Oh, cool. Yeah, just send some stuff through, Danny. You can have a look. The course, I'll be able to retrieve it in a repository inside Training University. So there's some stuff inside the university. So Danny can check that out. But this course is literally, it's a separate course. It's through the PT Ninja. It's part of the Done For You service because literally everything is done. And basically what we've done here is we've taken everything we've done over the past like 4 years of doing the Done For You service. And we've literally found that about probably, I don't keep saying 80%, but more than 80% of trainers generally wanted the same kind of thing, the same blueprint, the same structure, and a lot of the similar sort of content. So what we did is we took all that information, we took all the stuff that we realized that we get asked all the time and put it all into one course. And the reason we did that is because one of the things we found, especially with the gold package, is that some people just want everything set up for them. A lot of people really wanted to understand the processes and the thought processes that I was going through when I was putting this stuff together. And they maybe had a bit of time to do it. So we created this course where they could go through the same thought processes, learn this software inside out in a logical progression, but also have everything created for them. And one of the big things of the gold was the fact that we created all the content. Like, you would tell us what you kind of wanted and we'd go and create it, we'd brand it, we'd put it all in. So what we've done is we created all this huge white label library with all the stuff that fits in. We actually show you in video training, like how to set the groups up, where to put that content. We even give you the content to download, and we've made it so you can brand it, but in a really easy way. So you just drop in your logo, your colors, and it all updates, and that's it. You can drop all that in exactly where I put it, and everything will just drip feed out automatically for you. And then we talk about, like I say, the pricing side of stuff, how that works, how you're going to sell that out to your clients, how to build your sales pages, everything like that, basically, how to upsell from one. So how do you take your clients from, how do you start with this flagship? How do you then work out a challenge that's going to lead to your flagship? How do you work out a lead magnet that's going to lead to your challenge or your flagship? And we give you like the emails and stuff that we found that work and show you how to adapt them for your business and your clients, so you can build this out so it suits your niche and who you work for. And that just means that you can always kind of meet your clients where you're at and give you this good understanding of it. And then on top of that, we give you all the access to the extra support and stuff where we help you change stuff, adapt stuff and things like that. And then at the end of the course, when you've worked your way through it, we jump on a call together and I'll go through the account with you, answer any questions, help you adapt stuff if you need to, anything you're not sure about. But that's not the end of it. Like, there's no limit to this course once you finish. It's lifetime access. So we're always adding in new content. We're always adding in new white label stuff, new recipes, all sorts of cool things we're chucking into it. New trainings we put into it as well. And like I said, it's a one-off payment, just like all the done for you stuff, but you get lifetime access. And that's lifetime access to the support from me, lifetime access to the mastermind with every couple of weeks, like literally everything. So it's kind of a cool, I hope that kind of answers your question, Danny. So it is purchasable. I should have to find out. Actually, if you go to peterninja.com and click learn more, it takes you straight through to it. And then inside here, you can see the course. The course is $395, so $395, which I think is about $440, I think. One-off payment, and that's it. And you get everything, accessing it all. And you can find out a bit more about the course now if you want to have a look through. Kind of see what people are saying about it as well. We've had quite a few people go through it now. We've ran this version of the course for quietly on the back end for about 4 or 5 months, just to see what people's feedback was. We have took the feedback in, we've made some adaptations, we've made it better, we've improved it, we're always improving it, but we've had some great feedback from people, absolutely great feedback, which a lot are in this group, so you can probably catch up with them and chat with them if you want to. And then I say some more feedback there. It shows you what's included. But if you want to actually get an idea of what's included, if you come on this page and head down here, you can actually take a look. So you can take a look inside, you can see what's in each module of the course. It's broken down in detail here, kind of what you get, and exactly how it all works. Yeah, it's probably a good place to check out if you're actually interested in thinking about maybe get some extra help and support in this. And it's a great option instead of actually going into maybe like the full gold if you're going to do that. And of course, obviously, if you want the extra help and support from the gold, where we just do it all for you, you can obviously upgrade. It doesn't like cost you any extra, you just pay the difference. So there's lots of options there, Danny. So I hope that helps. Yeah, we try to keep it as affordable as possible. One of the things we try to do with all these is make it as affordable as we can. And it's one of the big parts of what we do with PTD. Because we work very closely, we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to make the most out of the software. And obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into this and a lot of time we put into it already, and we're always updating it. So there's got to be obviously some recompense for it because we're obviously an independent company. But we always try and help and support and make it as affordable as possible, and it'll always be this price. We're not gonna do one of those kind of like it's going to go up in a week's time or anything. It's literally this is what it is, and it'll always be there with the support and the help if you need it. Kelly had a question: will the client be able to see everything in advance after the group is scheduled, i.e., 12-week flagship or 6-month content, for example? Which habit is coming? No, not unless you set it up that way. So you could set it up to do that if you wanted to, but the way I was showing you there, Kelly, we'll only show them what's live for them, what group gets added in. But you could do it if you wanted to have them view it all in one go. You can do it that way. It's entirely up to you, really. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Again, PT gives you that flexibility to pretty much do whatever you want. So yeah, you can do it either way. But I generally don't like showing what's up front, especially if I'm customizing. steal at twice the price. Yes. Yeah, or you can do the other one, like I say, is exactly. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, Ray's one of my clients. Well, he's actually a gold client though. He's not on this, but he has got access to the course. Like all gold clients get access to this course anyway, once we finish working with them. But yeah, there it is. That's the whole course. If anyone's interested, you want to check it out, just literally head over to petertheninja.com and click this big green button in the middle. It'll take you straight through to it, and then you can just have a look and see what it's like, see what you think, see if it's for you. If you want to sign up, then just sign up, and yeah, I guess I'll see you on the other side of it all. Right then, I think we are pretty much done for the day. Has anyone got any more questions? Anything you want to look at? Anything you want to see? Anything you want to go through? Do you want to look at the blueprints again? If not, I think I'll call it a day. Try to keep it under an hour. Sorry, I've gone over a little bit. I always do try, but I'm not the best at keeping it under an hour. Cool, awesome. Thank you very much. Well, I hope this has been great, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you got plenty out of it. Again, the replay will be inside the video area, inside the group, and obviously on the live feed. I will put a link to this as well in my blog, and I'll link this in so you can have a look at it. And of course, again, if you do want any extra help and support, I know we've talked about it a lot with Dan already. If you do want this and you want the extra help with the PT Ninja 101 course, it's a good place to start. Just head over to the PT Ninja 101, or just type in peterninja.com. You can then click, I'll just show it you. You can then click this big green button here. We'll take you through, and then there's the course if you want to have a look at it and check it out. Awesome. No worries, Ray. Happy days. Awesome. Looking chatting about it, Ray. Should be good. Did you get my email from earlier on? I'll check my emails for you as well, Nikos. Cool. Danny, I'll check my emails for you as well. Awesome. Happy days. Any questions, as always, I'm always around the group, as you know, so just drop them in the comments and I'll have a look. And I shall see you all again very, very soon. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.